Today's episode, we are discussing a super important topic. We're discussing selective mutism. And the reason we're discussing this topic is because we're seeing so much of it. Sometimes the therapists are ahead of the researchers, and I think this is the case today. They simply do not have the numbers as of yet, but in my back porch and in the back porch of my CIS members and in newspapers around the world, speech pathologists are reporting that they are seeing an increase in selective mutism since COVID. Now, selective mutism, simply put, is that the child is not speaking at school, but the child is speaking freely in the home environment. So, what are we going to do about this? I know that in the past, I've had children with selective mutism, a few every few years, right? So, to have one this year, none the next year, one another year. Now, since COVID, I am getting about 3 children every single year with selective mutism. So, what I feel the need to do right now is to really sharpen the saw when it comes to treating selective mutism and supporting these children, because what I've done has worked. And what I've done is I've used a sort of floor time, child directed, child led approach, and that has been effective. And I've slowly faded in the verbal demands. However, we can do better. And we can do better because the research suggests if you take other areas that involve desensitization and step by step increase in exposure and shaping. Now, these are techniques that are very much out of the field of behaviorism. And if you add that into the mix to complement the child-led responsive intervention, you're going to get greater gains. So I want to sharpen my saw when it comes to treating children with selective mutism because I'm seeing so many. So it's kind of like when it comes to children with autism, I just had to know it all. I had to be trained in everything because you have to take such an eclectic approach to supporting them. When it comes to children with speech sound disorders, I kind of just had to know it all because I have so many children on my caseload with speech sound disorders. When it comes to children with developmental language disorders, I've had so many children with developmental language disorders that I've kind of had to just be trained in everything and take the best of it all and create best practice that way. So I'm feeling that today with selective mutism being so prevalent since COVID, and maybe we don't have the numbers yet to support it, but we're seeing it on the ground in the field. I'm feeling like it's time to up-level your practice with selective mutism. And what I've done is I've looked through the research that we currently have available, and I find that the approaches that are eclectic are more effective than the ones that are simply child-led therapies following the child's lead. So that's what I used to do for children who are selectively mute. I used to do the child-led therapy, follow the child's lead, and then slowly through the back door, sneak the speech and language demands in. Now I'm looking at it in a different perspective, knowing that it's so related to anxiety and how anxiety disorders are treated in that aspect of desensitization, that aspect of shaping, that aspect of exposure, in that gradual step by step, baby step, baby step, baby step to get the child to at a level where they feel comfortable speaking in a classroom environment freely. I see the value in terms of the numbers. They produce better results than the simply follow the child's lead approach. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about a follow the child's lead approach that's also combined with aspects of behavioral treatment therapy in which you are taking discrete steps and decreasing desensitization, increasing exposure, shaping the verbal behaviors. You're adding that to the mix. The reason I think this eclectic approach is so important is because of the numbers. So when I recommend something to you, it's not because I said so. It's not because it's politically correct. It's not because this is the newest, latest, and greatest popular approach. It's because of the numbers. I can show you the numbers and say, this is more effective when we look at the meta-analytic research than this is. And because of that, I'm going to take that direction. If you're in that field of speech pathology and we start talking about desensitization and exposure and shaping, this is stuff we really don't discuss in our field, but it's worth discussing if it's going to create lifelong change for a child with selective mutism. So that is why I think it's so important to sharpen the saw and to not be in a silo when it comes to therapy. When it comes to therapy, have wandering eyes. Look and see, what are they doing over there with that cognitive behavioral therapy? What are they doing over there with the exposure therapy? What are they doing with that desensitization? These are words that we don't use in our field, but knowing these effective, empirically based strategies and how we can implement them into our therapy and our intervention will change more lives. So, this is why I read so much outside of our field, not just in the field of speech pathology, because we're working with human beings who are complex. And we can't be in a silo and look through one discipline's lens when it comes to treating them. So let's dive in because this session is going to be so good. I'm going to share with you 8 strategies for the classroom. So these are 8 strategies that you'd want to share with the teachers, with paraprofessionals, that you yourself pushing into a classroom will want to use. This is going to be great. Make sure to open a Google Doc. Make sure to take notes. This is good stuff. These are 8 strategies you can put into practice right now because I'm guessing that you probably have a child with selective mutism on your caseload as you're listening to this podcast. All right, before I dive in, this is a side note. Today is my birthday. If you are listening to this episode when it comes out on December 12th, that is my birthday. And I just wanted to tell you some things because I don't want you to miss out. I know you work so hard with me. If you're in the SIS membership, you're doing the work with me, you're rolling up your sleeves, and you're providing top shelf therapy with me. If you're on the podcast with me, I know that you're sifting through research with me, looking at different disciplines and how we can up-level our practice. So you deserve a break. And this is what I'm going to recommend. So for my birthday, my best friend, who is a speech pathologist at the elementary level, she took me to the Complexions Ballet. So the Complexions Ballet is now going around the United States, and it's a ballet about diversity, and it's a ballet about eclecticism and drawing from many different to produce something that was just a gift. Like I looked at that ballet and I thought, this is a gift to a higher source. I don't know who these choreographers, God or higher power is, but it was so beyond human. So I really encourage you, if it's going around to the US, I know they do international performances, look them up on YouTube. It's called Complexions Contemporary Ballet. You have not seen a ballet, you have not seen a dance performance until you've seen the Complexions Ballet. I was watching the Ave Maria, which they had an opera singer, they had orchestra, and they had this amazing Ave Maria, which was based on African dance of Ave Maria, right? And and it was modern dance, and it was ballet, and it was African dance, and I was crying the whole performance. I was so overwhelmed with seeing someone produce something that was larger than themselves. And that's what you saw. It was this wasn't made by a human for a human. This was made for something bigger than the human experience. And it was so magical. I went home and I tried to YouTube the Ave Maria performance, Complexions Ballet, and they didn't have it. There was an old one from 2002 or something, and they didn't have the one that I saw in 2024 this weekend for my birthday. But if you get the opportunity to see it, you won't be disappointed. So make sure to check that out. Make sure to go to that ballet. It is worth the drive. If you have to drive a couple hours to see it, it will change your life. It was so incredible. So that was one thing, because I know you work super hard. I want to make sure that you treat yourself to the finer things in life, and you are going to leave inspired. I was inspired. I thought these are people that are not doing a job. This was a mission. What they were producing was an art form that was higher than a job. Okay. So also for myself, I bought a cookbook for my birthday. And this is an incredible cookbook. I highly recommend it. I love salads and I like good, when I say salads, I don't mean like pasta salads with mayonnaise. I like green leafy salads. And I highly recommend the Mandy's Gourmet Salads cookbook. If you want to spoil yourself with fancy leafy salads and have your what I'm going to have for my birthday, which is a niçoise salad, get this cookbook. It's so good. So that was the birthday gift from me to me for my birthday. That's what I got myself. And my husband is going to make a niçoise salad for my birthday. That said, I would love it, by the way. I'm going to ask a favor of you. I am here, obviously, on a mission to make the world a better place. And if you could leave a review and let me know how this podcast has impacted you or maybe a child you work with, that would mean the world to me because I am here right now, obviously not for the money. There's no advertisements. I'm doing this for free. There's a reason I read gobs of research and I pour so much time and so much work into this. And that's because we're making the world a better place, one person at a time. And you're always going to be first. But of course, when I videotape this right now as I'm talking to you, it's one way, right? I'm giving to you, and I don't know what's happening. I can only my feeling is I'm making the world a better place. We're working together. We're making the world a better place. We're creating legacies all over the world. You and I are, right? We are changing the world one child at a time. And that child's going off and changing 1,000 lives. And that child, it's like this domino effect. Nothing fills my heart more than to get that feedback. Like, so if you leave a review and say, this podcast has has impacted me in this manner, has impacted the children I work with in this manner, that would mean so much to me. It's just a feedback loop that tells me what you're doing is making a difference. That would be a wonderful birthday gift for me because today, 12/12 is my birthday, and that would be the best gift ever. That's kind of my mission in life is to make the world a better place through what we're doing. Let's get into today's topic. These are 8 awesome strategies. I did the research. I combed through with my wonderful graduate student. Shout out to Alex Kosher. So I had this graduate student who was just a genius. And I had so much fun for lunchtime. We would read research together for a good time. That's my idea of a really fun lunch. And wherever we had a free moment, I would just bring in huge stacks of research on a topic. Okay, let's research literacy. Let's research selective mutism. And I would give her half and I would take half and we would read through the articles and we'd scribble all over them and write hearts and write notes all over them. And then we would take them and we would summarize them and kind of create our own systematic reviews. Let's dive in. So the first one that we want to let teachers know and parents know, most importantly, is that the child is not being stubborn. The child's not being lazy. The child's not being stubborn. They are not having a power trip. This is how anxiety manifests. And anxiety manifests in that they're kind of being frozen and that they're unable to speak because of the anxiety. It's not a choice. As I mentioned before, this is another reason I don't like the word selective mutism. I like situational mutism and just letting them know that there is a genetic component to it related to anxiety. They find that if you have a parent with anxiety disorder, you're as much as 3 times more likely to have this condition than if you don't. Knowing that may help them be more empathetic and not lock horns and be like, well, if you're not going to talk, you're not going to get this, and have these moments. I'll teach her the consequence of not talking. So that just, first of all, giving them that information might be really helpful. The second tip that I'm going to give you is that it's really important to start off to have the child participate without speaking. I know a lot of people don't like you to say non-verbally participating, but it's just kind of an easy way to describe it. For instance, in my SIS membership activities, I have 2 movement activities every week. The kids love them. It's okay. They are participating in the movement activities, and I am doing the cues, and they are reading my treatment targets with their fingers, or they're moving their fingers. I have them do the cues with their fingers with me, and I make absolutely no demands for them to talk whatsoever. So this is really important. And this is really hard if you're a speech therapist, because it's like, that's what I do. I get children to talk. That's my job. That's my identity. Children can see you and smell you a mile away, by the way. You need to take that gear shift and you need to park it. And you need to say, you know what? It's not time to drive. It's not time to talk right now. It's time to park the car, and it's time to build that Maslow's triangle in which the child is feeling safe and secure through the predictable routine in which the child is able to participate. So we're building that momentum. We're building that positive relationship. We're building that this child is an active participator, not that this child is not a participator, in which you're asking the child questions throughout the day and the child isn't answering, but you're giving the child things to do that the child can do that are not related to speech. So in my movement activities, for instance, a very simple one would be we're doing the 5 little ducks went out one day, right? Over the hills and far away. And the child will go up the slide, go down the slide, and go and stick the duck in the pond and come back and check their checklist. Before they say their treatment target, they're reading it and they're doing the gestural cues, speech cues with me with their hands. So I'll say, let me see your fingers. And then I'll say, okay, go first, make that finger, and then I'll say, make your L's, please. And they mirror me with the gestures. I'm not telling them, say this, say that. They're not there yet. It's not time for that. Right now, I have that gear and park. And that gear and park means right now we're doing the non-speech activities and you are being successful. I'm setting you up for success. You're an active learner. You're an active participator. You're engaging in predictable routines. You feel safe. You feel secure. So the number 2 strategy that we want to give to teachers is to encourage the child to participate without speaking. For instance, if they're going around in group and they're saying, what's your name? And the child is saying their name, blank blank's here today, blank blank's here today. They could take 2 of the child's name. This is Jane and this is Chloe. What's your name? And the child can point to Chloe. And you can say, Chloe, Chloe's here today. You don't want to go up as a teacher and say, what's your name? And then they freeze. And then there's that negative reinforcement. They pull away the demand's removed, they feel better. It reinforces freezing. That reinforces that no response, right? Because you pulled it away. We want to think about, all right, let's set these kids up for success. We're not talking yet. We will get there. That's the next episode. Next episode, we're going to talk about how we're going to fade in those speech demands. Today, we're going to talk about that classroom, and we're going to talk about giving them a non-speech way to participate throughout the day. You don't ask them, well, what do you want for snack? You show them, you have a banana, you have a granola bar. What do you want for snack? So that they can answer, so that they're actively participating throughout the day. And you don't want to ask, what do you want for snack? And then they freeze, and then the demand goes away because they froze. So you're rewarding the freezing, and then you go and you give them their snack. Okay, let's look at number 3. Number 3, provide positive attention and encouragement. Now, I always say, and I've said this the last session, I think of an 8-layered wedding cake, like a huge wedding cake, and we're just putting that frosting on and on and on and on. You can't have too much frosting. Go ahead, put some roses on, put some little things around the side, be creative with it. And what you want to do is you want to label specific behaviors that the child's engaging in. For instance, the child is cleaning up. Wow, you cleaned up all of those blocks. What a great helper you are. High five. I really like gestures because the research says they're so powerful fist pump, what a cleaner you are. So you're labeling, you're not praising and saying, good job, good girl. No, you're giving those specific behaviors. Wow, look at all the colors you used. You used all the colors in the rainbow. This picture is so colorful. I always like to add a little gesture to it. That's always a great thing to do. So you might say, thumbs up. Now let's look at the next one. We want to describe, and we call this linguistic mapping. We talked about this last week, what the child is doing in words. So they're doing something and you're saying, wow, look how you're walking in such a straight line. Thumbs up. I love how you're walking in a straight line. Great walking. So you're going to go ahead and give them the sportscaster. What are they doing? Describe it to them with enthusiasm. And number three, mirroring. So we want to mirror what the child says or paraphrase it back to them. So when the child does talk, we don't want to clap and make a huge deal out of it. That is overwhelming. Like, oh, this is scary. So when they do talk, what we want to do is we want to repeat it back immediately. And you can paraphrase it. You can add some words to it. You can expand upon it. You can say it a little differently, but you do want to mirror the message and you want to mirror that message back immediately. So maybe they say blue and you say back, that's a blue crayon. And then you want to acknowledge that they're talking and say, thank you for telling me that. I heard you. Thank you for telling me that. But it's just a calm enthusiasm. It's not an excitement that's going to make them feel more anxious about speech or make speech like this bigger deal. Okay. That's a little bit overwhelming. So let's look at number 4. Number 4 is that you want to remain calm when the child does talk and acknowledge the speech naturally and with a calm level. So we just want to, my go-to is to repeat it back or paraphrase it back to them immediately and then just tell them, well, thank you for telling me that. I heard you. I heard that. Thanks for telling me. But it's like I said before, it is not, I heard you use your words. Well, clap, clap, yay, yay, And that sends two messages. One, it's like, oh my goodness, this is a really big deal. But two, it sends a message that I didn't expect you to talk. We want to give this thing like, of course I expect you to talk, but also to let them know that I appreciate that you talked. Number 5, we want to allow others to take a turn in the large group before the child so that it's very predictable. What the teachers do that I work with, and they're really great at doing it, is they go to every child in the group. And for instance, they might say, what did you like doing today? And they'll write it down. Oh, you liked the Legos. And what did you like doing today? Oh, you liked playing the dolls. Oh, what did you like today? You liked the snack. Oh, what did you like today? They go through those 14 children. And the last one they're going to ask is going to be the child with selective mutism. So it becomes predictable, it becomes familiar. It's not as scary if you're the first one to go. For the child with mutism, they've seen it modeled many times. And of course, they're going to want an option. Maybe they're going to say, well, I see that they liked the Legos and I see that they also liked the dolls. I'll hold up. What did you like today? Did you like the Legos or the dolls? And they might have a couple of options. The child can point to and show them which one they like. You don't want to ask, what did you do today? And the child's not talking. And then you say, oh, you liked the know what? I saw you playing with it. I'm going to answer it for you. So when they don't talk, you remove the demand, and that's reinforcing. Like, see, if you don't talk, the demand goes away. So we don't want to do that. You always want to think about, if I'm going to throw the ball to you, I'm going to make sure you're able to catch it. I'm going to serve you the ball and so you can turn it back to me. You want to give them a way to communicate. Of course, you're probably thinking, could you use AAC? You most definitely could use AAC. Later on, we're going to talk about how we're going to fade into verbal, but of course, let's look at the next one. Number 6, seat the child close to the teacher so the child can hear the whispers. I hear this so much with my children with autism. Many of them are whispering, and I am there in the room with them. And when they do whisper things, I make sure to say it loud. This child just said, I want a ball. Did you hear that? because the speech is whispered. It's really important that it's responded to because if the tree falls in the forest and no one sees it fall, you can't contingently respond to the speech. So put that child as close to the teacher, have an adult close by so that when they do talk, they can respond with immediate, as I was saying before, mirroring or expanding or rephrasing and a nice calm acknowledgement. I like how you told me that. Thank you for telling me that. I heard you. Thank you. All right, now let's go to number 7. Now, this is important because many people with children with selective mutism report that their child comes home, even though they're potty taught, with wet clothing because they couldn't tell the teacher that they had to go to the bathroom. So, thinking about how can I have some kind of card that they can pick up and hand me that tells me I need to go to the bathroom so that their basic needs can be made, like toileting. Think about, okay, I have a child in this room that is not talking at all. How are they going to have a way to tell me they need to go to the bathroom? Maybe you have a card with a Velcro thing that says, I have to go to the bathroom. And you can hand them that card. You can say, Tammy, oh, you have to go to the bathroom? Oh, thank you. Go ahead, let's go to the bathroom. The last one, this is really good, is video recordings. Using video, it's so easy today in this day and age. You can have the child, for instance, they have a birthday party at home. They're talking a lot about their party. Then the parent emails that clip to the teacher at school. The teacher at school can play that clip at school. She can play it on her laptop. She can play it on the smartboard and say, oh, look, it's Emily's birthday and we get to see Emily's birthday party. Wow. And you can talk about how fun her birthday party is. What's happening is Emily is talking because you're seeing her on that big video screen within the classroom environment. People are hearing her voice there. It's a way of desensitizing the experience. The more that we can do with the video, if the child is at their home, they might be able to do a Zoom call with the teacher and they have the parent by their side and they can say, hi, we just wanted to say hi to you. And then you can have a back and forth conversation with the teacher. For instance, maybe it's their week to bring something into school and you can say, oh, what do you want to share with your peers at school? And they have their dolly, this is my Big Bird doll. Oh, I like your Big Bird doll. Can you tell me about your Big Bird doll? Who gave you the Big Bird doll? And they like to ask those questions. What does a big bird do? You bring the Big Bird dog to bed. The child is in their home environment where they feel safe and secure. They have their parents with them. They have the teacher there. And it breaks that barrier in which they are talking to the teacher, but it's going to be kind of on their turf. What we're thinking about when we add this piece of behaviorism, of exposure, of desensitization, of shaping, is you think of there's 0 demands, which is like my home, my cave where I'm comfortable. And then you have 100, which is classroom, strangers, strange place, very uncomfortable. And what you want to think is what are those 100 steps in between that those baby steps so that the classroom is a comfortable place. And that's one of these ways where you can have your cake and eat it too. We can have the teacher, which you're uncomfortable with, that person, but you have the location that you're comfortable and you have the parent next to you that you're comfortable with. And the parent can even ask the questions. The parent can be like, okay, I'm going to ask you some questions. And the teacher can be like the third person. Who do you want to bring to school for a Big Bird? And asking the questions, and the teacher can chime in and say, I hear you, you said Big Bird. So think about all those little baby steps that we can do to help this child so that this child feels comfortable speaking in a classroom environment. When we're looking at that, we can also do asynchronous, in which you send a video of you talking. The teacher asks the question. The teacher says, hi, I wanted to know, what do you want to bring to school this week for show and tell? And then the child said, I want to bring in for show and tell, blah, 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 a video of them. And then it goes back to the teacher, and the teacher might ask a question on video. Oh, I like your Big Bird doll. Can you tell me, does Big Bird sleep in your bed with you at night, or does Big Bird, stay somewhere else? And then the child can make a video and talk back to him. Technology really does give us this way in which we can merge these two worlds of discomfort and comfort in improving the communication skills. And there's another thing you could do, for instance, if you're a speech therapist and you know about my treatment targets, if you're in the SIS membership, you could have the child read the treatment target at home. And then they bring that video to speech, and you can press play with them reading the treatment target and say, wow, I like the way, and you can give them feedback. Oh, I like the way I saw your hungry dog teeth. All right. They're becoming desensitized, and which is like, I am talking in speech therapy. I am talking with you. I'm right here and I'm talking. This is not as scary as it was before. It's not going 0 to 100. This is kind of that halfway point that we're meeting each other at. There's a lot we can do with that. And I was even thinking about green screens and how you could put a green screen with the child talking, and it's the classroom in the background. So the child sees themselves talking, and there's a picture of the classroom in the background, a picture of the children in the background as a background screen as they're talking. There's so many ways we can use technology to get from that 0 to 100 to break that barrier of discomfort. There are lots of steps, but these are 8 strategies that you can put in place right now. I want you to go ahead, talk to the teachers you work with, share these 8 strategies with them. Use these 8 strategies yourself when you're pushing in. Share this with the paraprofessionals. Share these strategies with parents. The greater the team, the better. If everyone's on the same page and everyone's like, okay, what are we doing with this gear? We're putting this gear in park right now. And what is the name of the game right here? The name of the game is that this child feels safe and secure, that there's predictable routines, and that the child is actively participating in every routine throughout the day. If they're not talking, how can we make sure that they're an active participant without speaking? Think about that. And we want to troubleshoot that with the teacher thinking about how can I make it possible so that they are answering every question, so that they are participating in all of the movement songs and all of the activities that we're doing in an active manner. And I'm not asking them throughout the day to talk when they're not able to talk yet. That is what we don't want. We want to set them up for success. I want you to take all of this information, roll up your sleeves, and make the world a better place, one child at a time. You will always be first.